I want to talk right now. John Granato and Lance Zierlein of ESPN's 97.5 and 92.5, the bench mornings. We want to talk about the Bill OBrien firing, and we want to talk about why, how, and the timing of it now. Was the Minnesota loss the final straw, or I kind of think it's an entire organization, Lance, that just couldn't live with this anymore because he had done so much damage to the organization, to the fact where they were losing fans at an alarming rate. I think that maybe the Minnesota loss was the impetus, but I don't think that's why he lost his job.
No, I think that was the final tumbler that allowed them to get this move done, probably. That's my guess. But I think this has probably been in the making, because if you go back to the shows that we've had over the last couple of years, rarely have I seen a team win and somehow lose interest or fans. It just usually doesn't happen like that. And you get some teams who are kind of blasé about a team, and that's fine. But we had people who were actively just not really into the Texans at all, even in the middle of a 10, 11-game win streak. I mean, that's insane. And the entire reason was because of the head coach. It was because of Bill OBrien. He wasn't a likable guy. He was tough to root for. Once, John, he got all the power, once he took over all the power, I think, number one, it really rubbed a lot of people the wrong way, because what had he done, this guy that wasn't a very likable guy, to get all the power? And then when you saw his offseason moves, look, the D-Hop was never going to be a popular move. That was never going to be a popular move. But with a head coach, when you add in a bad move, at least not good value returning, then DeAndre Hopkins has a very good start for Arizona, which we all knew, and then 4 straight losses. I think his personality and all those things that we talked about ended up basically a tidal wave that wiped him out.
Yeah, and I don't remember, because we were trying to think of it during the show, and after you left, I don't remember anyone as disliked as this. I mean, Dal said, well, Al Golden with the Miami fans. That wasn't on a national level. Bill OBrien has been a butt of jokes. He's been a laughingstock. He has been ridiculed. He has ESPN. They did entire shows, every day about Bill OBrien and how poor he was. I don't remember anyone being as destructive and as unlikable as Bill OBrien has been here.
And I think that I think the pandemic really hurt him in the sense that he had too much time to go make moves. And his moves were universally, but especially that DeAndre Hopkins move, that was universally panned across the board, and that was the talking point. There wasn't a lot of sports going on in the midst of, the early days of the quarantine when Bill OBrien made that move with DeAndre Hopkins. And I think eventually, my feeling was Houston fans are going to be pissed at some point. After that Tunsil deal, I saw it as credit card spending, and I knew it would piss people off once it got time to have picks and those picks weren't there. You don't know it when you're putting it off with your credit card spending, but once the bills came due, which were last year and now this year, and you're looking at 0-4 and your losses can't even get you a good draft pick, I think that really started to tick the fans off. And but I think I think Jack Easterby played a huge role in this, and it's very ironic because I believe that Jack Easterby and Bill OBrien were the ones who killed off Brian Gaine and took over the power of general manager. And then in an ironic twist, I think Jack Easterby saw Bill OBrien as someone who really wasn't very functional in that position as GM.
That Jack Easterby is the last man standing after, the Gary Kubiak to Rick Smith, and then it goes on to Bill OBrien and Brian Gaine, and Jack Easterby comes in, and he's the last one standing. It's just amazing. I do applaud Cal, though, for having the onions to get this done, to actually pulling the trigger, but he can't be blind. Everybody in the organization had to be coming up to him and going, what are we doing here? And this is an historic mess that we have gotten ourselves into, and we have to somehow stop this and stop the tide. But I'm a little worried that Jack Easterby is still standing, and Jack Easterby is maybe making some huge decisions for this organization going forward.
A football guy has got to be put in charge. And I don't care if it's a football guy with a bent towards analytics. I don't care if it's a football guy who loves traits. I don't care. I just want somebody with some experience, someone who understands trade value. I mean, basic things. This shouldn't even be a discussion. I want a general manager who understands trade value and wouldn't have given up a second for Kenny Stills or a second for Brandon Cooks. Wouldn't give the salary. I want a cap guy who understands salary, who wouldn't give Randall Cobb a 3-year deal with the 2-year with an out after 2 years for that amount of money in a year where you have a great wide receiver draft and you could have gone cheap. I want a cap guy who doesn't give in to a player who can fire his own agent because he knows you're so bad at negotiating. He can fire an agent and eliminate that commission just so he gets his own money and gets exactly what he asked for. You got to have football guys in who understand how to build a team. And I think most importantly, John, for the first time, and I don't know how long, they need to have one unifying message from the very top, and I don't know if it'll come from Cal or whatever, but there needs to be one central figure who says we're all on board together. There's going to be a positivity in the building, which I know that's Jack Easterby's thing, and I appreciate that. But there's got to be a positivity and a willingness to grind together, not side arguments in the building, not sneaky backstabbing stuff. And my concern with Jack Easterby is his history now is Gain gone and Bill OBrien gone. And while Bill OBrien, I'm grateful he's gone, that's who Jack Easterby is now.
Well, and I would love to have where a guy, the cap guy, like Chris Olsen, could come in and actually make suggestions that he could actually say, maybe we could do it this way. Maybe we can, and they can work together as opposed to a dictatorship like they had before. But hopefully that can happen under this regime. We'll see whether or not Cal's got the ability to put that together, and I'm not sure that that's the case. I will applaud him today. I'm not going to certainly not going to get on Cal, because I will applaud him today because he actually did something that he had to do, and I didn't think he would do.